And CBS News foreign correspondent Jonathan Vigilotti joins us now from London. Jonathan, two of Theresa May's top advisors announced their resignation today. What do you think went wrong for conservatives with this election?
Yeah, Don, the short answer is a lot. The complicated answer is confidence. I think she may have had overconfidence that ultimately could have been the downfall. Prime Minister May pushed for this early election on what essentially was the false belief her Conservative Party was strong and in a position to add to their Conservative base. It was essentially, if you will, an effort to strengthen the UK leading up to these Brexit negotiations. But in the end, as we've been watching, the opposite happened. The UK now fractured politically speaking. May's overconfidence also materialized in more obvious and clear ways. She flip-flopped during policies and discussions of them. She also refused to do television debates leading up to the election. Many, Don, saying that that was a wrong decision. Of course, hindsight now 2020.
The Labour Party made strong gains in this election. So what comes next for Jeremy Corbyn? What do you think his role is going to be going forward?
Yeah, Corbyn is a tax and spend socialist, a kind of British Bernie Sanders, if you will. Leading into this election, he was considered the underdog, but I think May's false sense of confidence, as we've been talking about, left this opening here for Corbyn to really shine through. And in the weeks leading up to the election, his campaign came across as polished and disciplined. While he ultimately came in second, it was close enough to deny May that majority. And in British politics, that's essentially a victory. Corbyn now has political capital to spend. He tapped into a nerve. He won over many young voters while doing so. While it's still unclear what will happen with May and the direction that she's moving in, Corbyn certainly has a role to play in transforming the political landscape in the near future.
Well, and the concern with Corbyn was that he was not going to be a very polished campaigner, and he proved them wrong. But what does Theresa May now and the Conservative Party need to do to recover from here?
Yeah, some people think that she can't recover and have called on her to resign. Of course, her two top aides earlier today doing just that. May says she won't. She's now reliant, though, and this is where it gets a little awkward, on that political party in Northern Ireland to bolster her in the coming weeks. But with these new allies, as you can imagine, come these concessions that she has to make to not just them, but those concessions could also upset the old supporters that helped her hang on by a thread in the first place. So it's going to be a very tricky tightrope walk for her, with objects being thrown at her from all sorts of directions.
And speaking of unintended consequences, Brexit negotiations are set to begin in just over a week. Yeah. She has less influence, less power, less leverage now than before. So how will Theresa May be able to broker a strong deal?
She won't, or at least she won't be able to broker the kind of deal that she wanted before the election. In a very public way, she showed her cards, and it's not a strong hand. And EU leaders have clearly taken note. We saw Angela Merkel there. She wasted little time saying Brexit discussions will carry on next week, meaning the UK is fractured ahead of this divorce proceeding.
Well, before we let you go, Jonathan, we are learning new details about the London terror attackers. They had tried to get a larger van or truck, strapped knives to themselves, and even had gas bombs in their van. 1 week later, do you think London is still on edge?
I think it's fair to say the city's carrying on, but certainly not forgetting what happened here last week. There's clear reminders, of course, of this looming threat and this ongoing investigation. There's an increased police presence on the street. We saw that earlier today while we were outside Parliament. Barriers have also been installed on bridges, specifically the London Bridge where this attack took place, to prevent vehicles from driving onto sidewalks where people walk. And Borough Market, where part of this attack took place, it remains closed as this investigation continues. Police do say, and they said so today, that they have honed in on the entire group behind the attack. But Don, several questions I think still remain. The top one in all of this: could these attackers, some previously known to police, could they have had other people they were in touch with? And how exactly, if they were known to police, did they manage to slip through intelligence hands in the first place? So a lot of questions remain as this investigation still very much underway at this hour.
So true, and I don't even want to think what they could have done with a 7.5-ton van, which is what they were, truck, which is what they wanted to rent, and they were turned down. Jonathan Vigilotti, thank you so much.
Thank you.